It's pretty difficult to choose your programming language when you're starting out as a programmer, choosing which technologies you should learn, especially when you don't have a degree. What I believe is that the most important things that you need to consider when choosing your programming languages are: how much is it going to pay you? How likely are you to be able to find jobs, whether it's freelance or regular jobs? So in this video, I'm going to share with you, in my opinion, the best set of technologies that you should learn, especially when you don't have a degree. The best place to get started, in my opinion, is going to be JavaScript. Why? Because it's the #1 most in-demand programming language in the world, and also it's used a lot in small companies. And a lot of the times, a lot of developers want to end up in places like Facebook, Google, big companies. But the thing is, it's difficult to get there when you don't have a degree and no work experience. So the best way to get started in your career is to start by working at smaller companies, and then you transition after you have work experience. It's going to be way easier than to try to get into big companies right away, and it can be really quick. A lot of people want to do back-end, but the problem with back-end jobs is that typically the people who are looking for back-end developers are not willing to give these jobs to new developers. Oftentimes they don't even want to hire new developers who have college degrees because they really need someone reliable. So you want to start out front-end, and what I recommend to people who want to do back-end and don't have a degree is, a lot of people, what they do is they start with front end and then they transition to back end after a couple of years. And the easiest way to become a professional front end developer is to become a web developer right now. There's a lot of demand for it, and especially if you want to freelance. The freelance opportunities and how much freelance jobs can pay for web developers is absolutely incredible. And the thing about code is, I've been talking about this throughout the whole video, but it's very easy for developers to transition to different technologies. But since it's hard to get your foot in the door for a lot of different development career paths, for a lot of people who don't have a degree, becoming a web developer is the best place to get started to become a mobile developer or a lot of different career paths. So what I recommend is that you learn at least enough HTML and CSS to get started as a web developer, get your first job or freelance jobs, depending on what you want to get started with. And from there, consider where you want to get to after that. Personally, I believe the most important thing if you want to have a good career is have a lot of free time and a lot of money. So in my opinion, after that, your best bet would be to become a freelance web developer because it's really easy to find jobs. And, I get paid about $85 an hour on average. And, I haven't been doing this for even 10 years. So, and for someone who doesn't have a college degree, I think, the opportunities for freelance web developments are pretty insane. But, if, your passion is in mobile, you can transition to mobile and learn the technologies you need to get jobs or freelance jobs, depending on what you want. But, for me, when it comes to choosing technologies and career paths, I try to choose the place that gives me the most amount of money per hour so I can work, part-time and still make full-time income, because what I care about ultimately is how much free time I have, because, I love coding, but, there's things I love more than coding, playing video games, seeing my girlfriend, and having more hours in a week to be able to do that is great. And the way you have more hours of free time in your week is to have freedom that you can get through freelancing and by having more money per hour so that you can work less hours and still make a lot of money. So to get that, what I recommend is that after you get your first job or a couple of freelance jobs with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, you start learning technologies that allow you to find freelance jobs that pay more and find freelance jobs faster as a web developer. And the way you do that is that you learn PHP, a bit of PHP, and a bit of WordPress. And the reason for that is that most websites running right now, the most used technologies aside from JavaScript, HTML, and CSS when it comes to websites are WordPress and PHP. And the thing is, when you're freelancing as a web developer, oftentimes you're working with people who already have a website. They're just looking for a web developer to make an update. And you want to be able to work with as many of these people who want websites updates as possible so that you have more job opportunities open for you. And since most websites run on PHP and WordPress, well, if you don't know PHP and WordPress, you're going to be limited in how many people you can actually work with. And not only that, the easiest way to be successful as a freelancer and make more money is just to be better at finding jobs and be better at convincing people that you're valuable and that you're worth paying a lot of money for. And the way you do that is just by learning the basics of marketing. Because you need to remember, freelancing is not just a job, it's a business. I'm going to make more content on this. My goal is to help people get more free time as a web developer and make more money, because those two are intertwined. You want to get the money so you can have the free time and the freedom to buy the things that you want to have so that you can enjoy the free time. So what I'm going to share with you on this channel are videos that help you have more free time, be more productive, find jobs easier, and make more money, because all of that is what is going to give you this lifestyle where you make a lot of money and you have a lot of free time. If you're interested in that, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next videos.